Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics. First, the highlights. Less than 24 hours after signing a peace accord by political parties, one person killed, 14 others injured in Duguri, Bauchi State. Ahead of the governorship election in Kwara State, All Progressives Congress and People's Democratic Party in the state trade words over vote buying allegations. Plus, Federal Capital Territory residents set agenda for new leaders demand good governance. Thank you for joining us. I'm Millicent Walker in Lagos. We start at lunchtime on a sad note. One person has been shot dead, 14 people injured when violence broke out during campaigns by the Bauchi APC governorship candidate Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar in Governor Bala Mohammed's hometown in Duguri. The Bauchi State Police says investigation is ongoing and assures the perpetrators will be brought to book. This is coming just hours after political parties in the state signed a peace accord. Our correspondent Hajira Liu reports.
Hawa and her co-wife are the latest victims of political violence in Bauchi State. Their husband, late Muhammad Abdullahi, a community leader, was shot dead during a clash in Duguri, Al-Kaileri local government area of Bauchi State.
He was reluctant to go out. He prayed, nodded his head and stepped out. That was it. We couldn't say goodbye. We didn't even see his corpse.
According to the police, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress was in Duguri, the hometown of Governor Bala Mohammed, to campaign when violence erupted on Wednesday evening. 14 people were injured and some of them are still receiving treatment in the hospital. The incident left several cars damaged. The APC and PDP trade blame over who is responsible for the incident.
His gang leader or leaders who led today's thuggery unleashed terror, intimidation on the people of Duguri town. They left several others injured and killed one Malam in Ungwashata through a gunshot.
The allegation is false, unfounded, and malicious. Instead of what the PDP and their sponsored hoodlums were saying, it was the campaign team of Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar that was attacked.
Governor Mohammed visits Duguri to condole the people, especially the family of late Abdullahi, urging the people to exercise restraint.
I will take the matter to the highest level. There is nobody above the law, even including myself, who has immunity. Certainly will not agree.
Air Marshal Sadiq was also in the hospital to visit the victims. Recall that a similar incident was recorded in Akuyam a month ago, which led to the death of one. Hajara Ali, Channels Television News.
Staying with election security, the former chairman of the Police Service Commission and one-time Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mike Okiro, has asked security personnel deployed for election duties to protect Nigeria's democratic process without any fear or molestation. Mr. Okiro insists security agencies posted to polling units and collation centres should not allow what happened during the presidential poll to repeat itself during the governorship and House of Assembly election. He spoke with journalists in Lagos.
The most in all this, and which are considered objectionable and roundly condemnable as a trained security officer, is election violence and vote intimidation, especially the use of gunmen and thugs to harass, scare away voters and election officials, as well as the snatching of ballot boxes. Sadly, some policemen were accused of watching helplessly while the violence was orchestrated. In some domains, certain persons were strongly accused of dishing out threats to voters to vote for candidates against their consequences, against their conscience, or face their consequences, like being driven away for the In some other areas, the properties of Nigerians are being willfully destroyed, ostensibly to call them to vote for candidates still being trained by Nigerians. This happening in Nigeria in the 21st century. The answer is absolutely no. That answer is that this should not be allowed to happen. I implore the General Police and other service chiefs to decisively deal with the officers and men who watch aimlessly while election violence is being committed by hired gunmen, political thugs, and sundry election miscreants and offenders.
Elsewhere, following the postponement of the governorship election, the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress in Kwara State have been trading words over allegations of vote buying, while the People's Democratic Party accused the ruling party of allegedly secretly transferring money to lure voters for the coming poll. The All Progressives Congress, on its part, denies it and blames the opposition of concluding plans allegedly to buy votes with foreign currencies.
We would like to say very clearly, without fear or favor, that there is no truth whatsoever to the claims of the ever-lying PDP. The party is notorious among our people for its reckless claims and penchant for outright falsehood. Its latest claims are true to type and especially hypocritical of a political party that sought to buy people's conscience with dollars, which we are aware of. The action of the PDP is nothing more than shadow chasing, and it is engaging in false equivalence, thinking everyone acts in bad faith, as they did while in government, and they still do, even while they are in the opposition at the moment. These are the same people whom a few weeks ago celebrated the cash policy of the CBN in their simplistic thinking that it will make people forget their atrocious acts and the various atrocities that the party committed while they were in government, thinking that that probably will make the people elect them back to public offices. Their cries and frustration are well understood as things become clearer to them that Kwarans are not fools.
We're here to bring to your attention the genuine information at our disposal on how a huge sum of money is being moved for the various accounts of Kwara State into private accounts for subsequent disbursements to induce voters. We have correct and factual information about how political office holders, private individuals outside government, influential people in our society, and even bureaucrats receive huge money from government accounts, and these individuals then either retain the money as their own to buy their support, while some others are charged with paying a huge part of the money in tranches of 20,000, 30,000, 10,000 to ordinary voters. This is a big political scam that is going on in our state. Thank God that the new financial regime being promoted by the APC government has also ensured that there is an acute scarcity of cash, and so the people involved in this scam are being forced to transact this fraudulent business using the banks.
Well, let's head to Yobe State now, where a coalition of the Tinubu Kashim Shettima campaign groups in the state have pledged to replicate votes for Governor Mai Malam Buni ahead of the March 18, 2023 governorship and Houses of Assembly election. The media coordinator of the group, Mr. Kachala Zaid, disclosed this at a victory celebration in Damaturu, the state capital, to re-strategize and canvass votes for all APC candidates in Yobe State.
Our massive gratitude to Almighty God, who in his infinite mercy granted us victory in the just concluded presidential election. We all converge here in this office for the past 8 months, campaigning and working towards actualizing the mandate of His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and His Excellency Distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima. And to the glory of God, we end victorious. It's a work we have been doing for long, and Allah has granted us victory. So we gathered here to celebrate this victory. to jubilate with our people who have been working with us tirelessly for months, and to appreciate each and everyone, especially the good people of Yobe State, for showing us the huge support throughout this period, and to as well appreciate all members of this office whom we have worked throughout this period. My wish remain positive is for the victory of our dear party, the victory of our boss and principal, His Excellency Honorable Maimala Buni. His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni has done everything humanly to ensure the development and beautification of Yobe State. He has delivered in all aspects of if you take education, health sector, infrastructure development, human capital development, His Excellency has done extremely well.
Let's talk some more election-related matters. Joining us virtually is Professor Nwankwo Uchenna. He's the Dean Faculty of Humanities, Imo State University, Owerri. Prof, thank you for joining me on the program. We've come a long way since the preparations of the general elections, the presidential and National Assembly elections have held, and this week we saw the states and houses of assembly elections postponed. How would you assess the events, that have played out and are playing out?
Thank you very much. It's a good one, and we are watching how things are moving. The process went well, and it's a developmental issue for the system of the government. And as it goes, it has happened. So the government should wait and see how it comes over. The process was good, but you should expect up and downs of results. It cannot be acceptable by all. We'll take them bit by bit. Thank you.
A number of people have talked about how this process, yes, indeed, seems to stall a lot of things in the economy. For some, what was hoped to be a smooth election cycle, no postponement whatsoever, has sort of been dashed. Do you think that perhaps we should be apprehensive each time elections come for Nigeria, and that this is our lot until we get it right? What do you suggest are some of the buffers for the country, something that we can work towards so that other things, continue, as planned?
Yes, thank you. It's a nascent democracy. It takes time. It's a big process. It's a sequence. You don't expect Nigerians to be holistically nice at once. And based with our multicultural background, we must face issues based on our ethnic possibilities. But the way it is, we shouldn't be all that anxious and tense over elections. But with time, all these things will take its natural processes. If you watch what happened, it was as if everybody was waiting for the fears. And I won't deny the fact that the affairs has come to board. But with time, they'll come over it. Thank you.
Uniquely, other things are riding on this election season, and there are also the cash crunch flowing from the Naira swap policy, and then the few challenges. What's your advice to tackling these issues as we head to another election next Saturday?
I won't deny the fact that this is the most difficult time for Nigerians. Very difficult. Starting from the months we buy fuel, 400, 450, the closure of school has been a shift on when they come back, and transportation and no money. Fuel and money, this double scarcity is really difficult. But I think Nigeria should be patient and stay back and wait till next week. And I know it's going to be difficult, but a lot of patience will push us the right way, and we'll come out of it to try and cause and happiness for a new Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nwagwo Chen, for your time. The network almost doing us in there. Thank you very much. We did hear you. Thanks for joining us today. Well, let's take a break. When we return, we have more stories. We'll also talk to our correspondent who brings us the latest reactions on the election postponement from the Northwest. To join us again. Welcome back. The Supreme Court has affirmed Mr. Rufai Hanga as senator-elect for Kano Central Senatorial District under the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. The Apex Court also removed former Governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, as the candidate of the NNPP in the February 25th National Assembly election. Delivering judgment in an appeal brought before it by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the court upheld the judgments of the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal, both in Abuja, which had earlier upheld the candidature of Mr. Rufai Hanga as the candidate of the party. Well, let's head to Kano now, where mixed reactions trailing the election postponement. Our correspondent, Sadiq Ilyas, joins me now. Hi, Sadiq. Talk to us about the reactions and the atmosphere there, especially to the election postponement to Saturday next week. All right, we might try to get a hold of Sadiq a little later on. But let's take you to the Federal Capital Territory, where traders are appealing to the new emerging leaders in the country to improve their livelihood and security situation, among others. The traders are reacting to the recently concluded elections while lamenting the continuous cash crunch, regardless of the Supreme Court ruling, which nullified the central bank's Naira redesign policy, that is, allowing the old Naira notes back into circulation. Take a look.
This is a section of the Federal Capital Territory. The usual hustle and bustle of the streets is gradually gathering momentum following the conclusion of the presidential and National Assembly elections. The residents of the nation's capital recount their experiences.
Yeah, well, as regards the voting and the deployment of beavers, it was swift for me. The biometric accreditation was very important, and the game changer that we expected as regards biometric accreditation, it was fast, it was smooth.
This section of voters will not be participating in the next elections, that's the governorship and state assembly elections. Nevertheless, they have their own expectations ahead of the exercise.
I would like this government now to bring that judiciary back to this way it is supposed to be. Because the judiciary is the common right, the ordinary common right of ordinary human being like me.
The problem in the election that people is going to travel, but there's no fuel. No fuel. So how are they going to travel? When there's no fuel, they will not travel. Personally, I suppose to have to vote, but I don't fuel, no cash, I will not travel.
You give privilege to business people to do their businesses.
You cannot buy food in the market. So that is our prayer for new government to make everything do cheap for everybody.
Let this killing stop. Killing, we are hungry. Let us manage it like that. But all this killing, let it stop.
My expectation beyond the people, especially INEC, is that INEC, I believe, that whatever challenges they had at the presidential election, they must have addressed it.
Leading up to the presidential elections, the introduction of the new Naira notes generated a lot of concern, and many of these residents are hoping that the conclusion of the polls will ease the stress caused by the cash crunch. However, the situation is yet to abate.
It don't reach since 3 weeks. With 3 weeks now, I don't even count 2,000 naira go house. Bank not really reason for us. Bank new one, they not really reason for us. Old one, they not really reason for us. To pay children's school fees, no way. To pay house rent, no way.
On March 3rd, 2023, the Apex Court ruled that the old Naira notes be allowed back into circulation alongside the new notes. These residents are still waiting to see the impacts that would have on the availability of cash in the country.
Well, still ahead of the governorship elections in Lagos, the Labour Party campaign train is connecting with youth living in the state. At a gathering, some of the older generation, a delegation of the European Union and the party's flag bearer in the state, his DG and chief spokesperson, speak on the Labour Party's ideals, which they say is a movement driven by the youth and the energy and passion for a better Nigeria.
I am very happy that the energy that the young people came and said we're going to deliver at the ballot box, they came through and they came through with their word, right? They came out and they meant what they said and they showed us in action, right? And I truly believe that it's time for a new Nigeria and a new Lagos. It's not just about the young people. You know, young people also influence their parents, right? There's so many older people that voted for us as well, for the Labour Party. But is that dynamism, is that energy? Where is that energy coming from? The energy that created this Labour Party movement for the older generation to look at it and say, you know what, yes, this is different and we want something different. And that movement, that energy is still sustained because it's sustained on hope.
The Young Progressives Party YPP Benue State chapter has withdrawn from the March 18th governorship election and endorsed the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Titus Oba, on the single reason of fighting together to confront the existential threats posed by herdsmen attacks on Benue communities. The state chairman of the party, who disclosed this to journalists in Makurdi after an expanded meeting of the State and Local Government Executive Committee, says the decision was born out of the fact that the PDP-led administration in Benue has shown capacity to better handle security of Benue citizens, hence the endorsement.
YPP in Benue is capable of pulling 100,000 votes plus. But we are good students of history. And it's obvious to anybody in Benue and even outside that the 100,000 votes will not give you victory in governorship elections in Benue. And so we have decided to act wisely, to align our forces, to, if you would permit me to use this word, to mitigate our disaster, such that our insistence on self-satisfaction will not mortgage the development we hope for in Benue State. On that note,
I understand we have our correspondent joining us from Kano. Hi, Sadiq. Yes, indeed. It's good to hear you. Talk to us about the state of the atmosphere in the Northwest following the postponement of the state and Houses of Assembly elections.
Well, starting from Kano State, from what we have observed from the political parties, a lot of them are respecting the decision of INEC to postpone the elections. Most of them have expressed their satisfaction and they are not worried at all with regards to this postponement. And in some places like Sokoto State, Zamfara State, and what have you, we understand that the Independent National Electoral...
Oh dear, we seem to be having a situation with Kano there. Apologies for that. But let's bring you more political stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court, which ordered the commission to allow 2 people with temporary voter cards cast their votes in the forthcoming elections. A statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC chairman says the commission is taking immediate steps to appeal against the judgment of the trial court. Meanwhile, the River State governor has charged the recently elected National Assembly members in the state not to pledge loyalty to the People's Democratic Party National Working Committee when inaugurated. He says the party's leadership did not contribute to the success of their elections. Therefore, the lawmakers must only be concerned about the unity of the country and the interest of River State. Well, you've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget you can join the conversation on our social media platforms showing on your screen. I'm Millicent Walker. Thanks for watching.